As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Good evening, my professional colleagues. Good evening, friends of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, and to our students, ladies and gentlemen. A beautiful evening to all of us. And I want to seize this opportunity to welcome you to another session of ICAN on Air. Today, Tuesday, the 10th day of the first month, January, the year 2023. And like I promised you when we started the year, that we are set. The editorial board has put together topical issues that will guide us in the year 2023 for more deliverables, for more productivity. And today's, we've prepared a veteran, an erudite that will do justice to our topic. But before I go, let me just let you know that the topic of today is very key, fundamental. And we're talking about business survival in turbulent markets. I'm sure you know all the markets you want to talk about as we speak, be it financial, capital, commodity, name it. There is turbulence in all the markets, and we need survival for us to make sure that we keep moving. And to do justice to the topic today, like I said, is a veteran, an erudite scholar, Dr. Isaac Orolugbagbe. He is a senior fellow at the Strategy, Entrepreneur, and SPEB Department of the Lagos Business School and Adjunct Faculty, Strategic and Corporate Governance at Startup Business School, Nairobi, Kenya. His areas of interest include strategy, innovation, corporate governance. Currently, the Chief Executive Officer of Alistra Limited, a strategy and innovation consulting company that advises companies such as Inland Container Limited, Cefax Group, Green Spring School, Korea Plus Services on how to ensure profitability and sustainability growth using innovative principles and techniques. And I can assure you, these are some of the things we are going to learn here today. For more than 30 years, he has worked successfully as senior level manager in diverse industry, including but not limited to audit and finance, consulting, aviation, air enterprise logistics, freight and maritime, oil and gas, with keen interest in entrepreneurship. His invaluable footprint can be seen in his role as the Treasury Controller of the DHL Nigeria, Senior Accountant, Shell Petroleum Development, Managing Director Red Star Enterprise, license of FedEx Corporation, and also the CEO of Skyway Aviation Handling Company, that is SACO PLC. Currently the chairman of Backtrust Microfinance Bank, chairman of Fasiza Food and Confectionery Services, and board director of Better Computer, to mention but a few. He holds a bachelor's degree from the prestigious University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, a master's of business leadership from the University of South Africa. He is a chartered accountant. Let me say that again. Not just a chartered accountant, a fellow of our great institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountant of Nigeria, and also a fellow of the Institute of Director and fellow of the Society of Corporate Governance of Nigeria. I said it at the beginning. I'm in with a veteran today to give you survival strategy during this turbulent time. Every market is facing it. Name the market. I want to take words out of him. He's well loaded to give us. He has the experience. He's of age. Like we're talking behind the scene. He said we are age mates. You will confirm when we start the show. But like I keep saying, this is an avenue for you to promote your goods and services. Make sure you do something about that this year and bring your goods and services to ICAN On Air for us to promote to our global viewer. On that note, let me go on a very short break. When I'll be coming back, I'll come in with our guest to do justice to the program of today. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Welcome back, and it's a great time to have on ICAN On Air today, Dr. Isaac Orolugbagbe. Good evening and welcome on the show, sir.
Good evening, Session. Thank you for inviting me to join ICAN On Air for today.
Yeah, I'm sure if I'm able to do the voice like our guest today, you will know that he said at the back end that, Session, don't think I'm old, I'm your mate. Sir, the voice is thicker than one another. But let's start the show in a very exciting time. Sir, the topic of today is considered by many to be apt, considering several things that we are facing, and topical, especially when you consider the global business environment. In the context of this topic, sir, can you educate our global audience on what constitutes a turbulent market? Or what we can christen to be turbulent?
All right. Turbulence has been with us for quite a while. I mean, if you look at academic research on what constitutes turbulence, you will see right up as far back as 2012. In fact, the very popular acronym that we use to define turbulence, the VUCA. That is, some people, instead of saying turbulent market, they say VUCA market. And so what is VUCA market? It was introduced to the world by the American military researchers. And V there stands for, what do you call it now? Volatile. U for uncertain. C for complex, and A for ambiguity.
Ambiguity, yes, sir.
Yeah, and you are having all these characteristics appearing simultaneously. As you are trying to master one variable, multiple other variables are hitting you. Even when you think you understand it, something surprisingly will spark up again that messes up your earlier understanding. So it creates not just volatile, it makes it very complex, and our understanding, our so-called expertise, become seriously uncertain and doubtful. And that is how turbulent markets, that's the kind of characteristic that they exhibit. Those kind of environment, when you think you are mastering one trouble, another one is hitting you. And it's not just one, multiple others are hitting you.
That is a brilliant way to start. I'm sure our guests are putting it to say, oh, even the man talking to you is VUCA chairman. Because they look at it and they said the current situation we find ourselves is we need to vocalize it. And the turbulence, it's about VUCA. Regardless of the turbulence, when discussing about market, what readily or generally comes to mind is money market, capital market, but it seems market cover a wide spectrum beyond money market and capital market. Can you please educate global viewers on this?
Thank you. When we say markets, all the markets are connected to each other. When the capital market is doing well or not doing well, there's almost a direct or inverse relationship with the money market. If the stock exchange is not doing well, people look for other avenues to keep their money. So what do? You look at the money market. And even the money market or the capital market is a derivative of disposable income of the consumers. So when the consumers are losing their purchasing power, where are they going to get money to save? Either in the money market or the capital market, so it will impact. So if you come out in the capital market as a company to raise money at a time when people are hungry, it will affect your listing. And at the same time, you remember when this central bank announced and reduced interest rates on savings accounts, and the banks were giving us 2%, 3%. What did you see in the capital market? Those who are already positioned in the bond or the debenture market at 15%, 30%, they've moved to another market that is cheaper. Now, you create unnecessary tension in that long-term market of 15%. Some of us were playing in the treasury market where we're happy with the 10%. And they suddenly say, you cannot come there anymore. So what do you see in the capital market? The overall return on investment came down to about 5 or 6%. So, and if you also look at the property market, there's also a relationship between the capital market and the property market. Each of these markets are, what I would say, they are competing for the same money. One is a substitute for another. So if one is not doing well, people have to start looking at the other market closely. And then you see movement from one market to another market. And because this movement is not long lasting, the policy that is attracting money to a capital market is we are not even allowing it to do 10 years before changing. So you just see people jumping ship. And this jump is with very limited time frame and scope. And it's at the end of the day, it creates tension and turbulence in the environment because we can't really plan. We can't do serious planning. And when we're talking about enterprise, we're talking about corporations that will stand the test of time. Most of the equipment and the resources, for example, to build a refinery, you cannot walk into Europe and buy your refinery on the shelf. The process of building refinery is very complex. There is no way you can get a refinery ready in 5 years. The first thing is to get a design. When you get the design, and the design can take you 2-3 years, especially if it's more than 100,000 barrels a day. There's no standard. You cannot buy it. They're going to design the size of the pipe, the power of the pump, the source of the crude. So many variables will come into play. And of course, the labor that will run the refinery. And then the source of your raw material. Have you gotten guaranteed commitment from the owner of the crude? Before you invest $1 million in a refinery, the federal government of Nigeria must give you a sovereign guarantee. And of course, who is going to buy the off-takers? Right now, the market is not on, we are dealing with an unsure market. Yeah, who's going to buy it? These same guys who don't have dollars, because right now, it is only the federal government that is buying petrol. Now, will government commit to the manufacturer of the refinery that I will buy your refined product at so and so price? It's difficult because you also have the international market selling refinery. Selling refined products. Now, to build a refinery, minimum of 5 to 10 years. Do we have an investor in Nigeria that's willing to give a moratorium of 6 or 7 years while we are building the refinery? And the interest rate is 25%. Within 3 years, the money you borrow will have doubled. So now, if you use, and I call those kind of money 25%, 20%, I call them hot money. If you take hot money to do a long-term project, it will burn you. It will burn you. You will lose your business. That's why we haven't found credit for mortgages. And meanwhile, if we want this country to grow, we need to build houses. We need to build 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom flats in millions. Why? Every bungalow you build will probably provide employment for about 10 people for 1 year, a 3-bedroom bungalow. These are serious employment generating opportunities. Now, if the government now say, okay, we want to build 500,000 bungalows, automatically there will be no area boy in Nigeria anymore. Everybody will be busy carrying block, you see, when Jakonde was building those Jakonde houses in Lagos, there were no area boys. They were too busy. When you carry concrete in the morning and you go on break, you sleep. So there are so many activities that we can use to keep the entire economy busy. Not the airports, not the very expensive project. No, what we need are the small projects that will change the quality of life on a big scale. Most of the diseases that is killing us in Nigeria is not cancer, it's not those expensive ailments. No, it is still malaria, typhoid, and this other one, diarrhea, that is killing us. All these ailments can be cured with 1,500 naira. So, if we make our primary healthcare to function, you will see that the current budget we are spending on healthcare, half of which we guarantee primary healthcare for every citizen of this country. So, apart from creating employment, our quality of life will rise. So there are too many. If you also look at the consumer credits, this is one country that advanced trade. If you want to buy a laptop, you must have the cash. You want to buy a fridge, you need your cash. You want to build a house, you must have the cash. How are you going to grow an economy when everybody must have the cash? All you need is 10% of your purchase price. In all these civilized countries, if you pay 10% for your car, you get a car. And the cost of financing it is about 6-7%. So nobody needs to break his neck in order to ride a car. You don't need to break your neck to own a bungalow. But what is keeping us from enjoying this beautiful thing? We don't have identity in terms of credit worthiness. And so it makes our case much more difficult. But if we have a government that is committed to doing this, we can grow the GDP within 2 years and multiply it by 2.
This is a very interesting way to start the conversation, talking about the different market, how they are interrelated, interwoven, whether it's capital market, money market, property market, consumer market. One is dependent of the other. And like you said, you have a policy affecting this, the bandwagon effect, everybody jump to the other one and make sure that it works. I said it that it's going to be an insightful time for us this evening with Dr. Orolugbagbe as I proceed. But before that, let me tell our viewers that we want to welcome your questions. I'm sure we all know that the current period we have as individual, corporate organization, as a nation, we are all facing turbulent time, and the market is even unpredictable. But we have a veteran here to advise way the younger generation and every one of us in totality the way to go about surviving this turbulent time. While I await the question of our people who are connected, let me proceed, sir. As a business analyst and a coach, help us to have better understanding, sir. Is turbulent market and volatile market one and the same thing, or they are two different things?
Turbulent market is a bigger definition. Volatility is one of the elements of turbulence, just like I've said. So it can be volatile and be understandable, but it can be volatile and unclear. You see, that's more complex than just volatility. So the turbulence is much, I mean, that's why I introduced that vocal. When you bring all those four elements together, it really, creates confusion and crisis for everyone.
So indeed, turbulence is deeper because it's like you are putting the four elements. I even learned that they have the fifth one added to it now, which is D, destruction. I said even with VUCA, we have not survived. You are putting D to make it VUCA again. Then it's more turbulent that we will be facing. So turbulence is deeper than the volatile market. While we await the question of our guest, I proceed that can you share with us the effect or consequence of turbulent market on the economics of individual, corporate bodies, and a nation at large?
Okay. As an individual, everything has changed for you. If you are a professional accountant, what the turbulent market means is many and varied. One, if you look at the future of work, you can just realize that you are jobless. Not because you have nobody to employ you, but because your skill is old and out of fashion. And we're looking for an accountant that is ready for the future. So if you are not ready for the future, you cannot be part of the future. So as these things are coming up, new technologies, new ways of doing businesses, you have to embrace it. Don't tell people, keep quiet. This is how I did it when you were born. No, the market has moved from that time. If you need new knowledge, you need to be conversant with IT skill. You need to connect with the market. We need to know what the consumers are demanding. So if you are looking for work in corporates, what are the core type of skills that the companies are now paying for? If the companies are not advertising your skill, that means your skill is a little old. And if you check the newspaper, who are the people that the corporates are employing? What kind of accountants are they engaging? So if you come up with your ACA and then you resume in my office and you find out we're using Sage and you've never heard the word ARP before, how can you be of value? How can you be? It's time to sack you. Now, and if you also look at even the brick and mortar corporations, they are creating e-commerce channel, customer service channel, online to support even the so-called brick and mortar. Everybody's looking for ways to make the customer experience great. Are you part of that movement? Or you are laughing at them? Now, when the electronic platform now brings 70-80% of the revenue from your company, where will you be? How will you fit in? You've already sacked yourself. So for individuals, we need to look at the environment and the various changes that's happening, whether it's money market, capital market, business model. We must connect and attune ourselves with the reality of the times. So that whatever, which song, if you remember Sonny Ade's song, he said, wherever people are going to, let us go with them. So you too, you should make sure your antenna is sharp and is picking the current vibes. And what that means is you must remain a permanent student. I think I will just put it as simply as that. You have to be a permanent student.
That
That's
is
for
a
individual.
better way to, yeah. Then we move to the corporate organization
All
and the
right.
nation at large.
Now, the companies are smarter because you see, the consumers are too powerful. When the consumer vote with their money, they either vote against you or they vote for you. And when they vote against you, nobody can rescue you. You're going to go. There are so many companies that are in the mortuary because they're dead. The consumers have left them. So companies must also embrace innovation. And how do you embrace innovation? You must be aware of all the drivers of the changes in your environment. It doesn't matter whether it affects you or it doesn't affect you. Be aware. Be conscious. And then awareness is not sufficient. You have to ask yourself at the leadership level, how will these various parameters, how will it affect our business? What are the various scenarios that could be at play? Now, when you understand that, you ask yourself, how will I react or how will I respond? And then you come up with a prototype or model, and then you put it in your drawer. And then when you put in the drawer, do not forget to ask yourself, what signals must I see that will make me to play out my scenarios? So it's just as simple as that for companies. Now, what this means is that your innovation management process must be in place, which is what I tried to explain. Every company must not just embrace innovation, you must have an innovation management process in place. And it's not something everybody will do. You just have a focal point for it. And you're looking at all these things. And that focal point has access to the CEO. Because the truth is, human beings don't like change. So those who have prospered from the old system will keep flaunting their prosperity. And if you're not careful, success is a big factor for failure. When you become arrogant, you will no longer be able to receive feedback from the market, feedback from the frontline employees. See, when you don't receive feedback, then you will never change. You won't change. And then when you want to be part of change, it means your antenna or all your processes are connected to the marketplace. What are the consumers demanding? What are they looking for? If you're a smart company, you will connect all the time with your consuming audience. How are they engaging your product? Is there new things they're doing with the product? So you follow them and you are responding to their needs. There's no way you can lose if the customers are still voting for you. So companies that do not want to expire must always pay attention to their customers. Now, for company, I mean, for the macro environment, which we call our country, the nation, Nigeria is like a company. Nigeria is looking for capital. It's competing with Ghana, with South Africa, with Egypt, with Kenya for this capital. So if you do not prepare the bride, it will not attract the capital. So we need to run the company in a very professional way. We have to be futuristic. We have to be serious with the governance structure. We cannot just think everything will continue as business as usual. No, the leadership also must realize that all these corporations that bring investment to Nigeria, they have alternatives. They have other clients. And you know, money is like water. When you pour water on the ground, it will find this level. So money, if you remember about 10 years, just about when we started this democracy, for about 10 years after President Obasanjo was sworn in, you will see Nigerian Naira was one of the most stable currency in Africa. So stable, so that if you come in with funds from anywhere outside Nigeria, when you want to take your money out, you're not going to lose anything. You will be able to take your money away. That is the biggest incentive to attract foreign direct investments. But when we are dancing like yo-yo, I mean, look at what is going on now. If we want to bring money, let's say you are bringing money from America or anywhere, as an investor, one of the conditions for you to meet dividend or to repatriate your capital is that you must get certificate of importation from central bank. And that means you are going to sell that money to central bank at whatever exchange rate they are using, maybe 450 naira. And then you set up a factory with the money. And now you need to buy raw materials. And they say, oh, no, go to the other market, it's 700 naira there. Won't you ask, what did you do with my 450 naira? The dollar that you sold to me at 450. At least I'm not asking you to give me everything, just a little portion of it. I should be able to get it at the rate that I brought it. Now, as long as people can't do that, then our capital account will suffer, which is what we are going through now. The capital account is in trouble. Now, that's just one element for making economy work. Security is a huge one. We all know that agri contribute the largest percentage to our GDP. But that agri in the last 5 years, 10 years actually, has been bashed and beaten. The farmers have been driven away from their farms. So big chunk of our GDP has been destroyed by insecurity. Even when there was no insecurity, our capability to process and conserve the food has been severely limited because we don't have processing facility, the transportation of our food, farm product to the city, almost 40–50% get destroyed in transition. So we already have that. The challenge will be, okay, how do we help these farmers to preserve the tomatoes from the farm gate to Lagos, for example, such that nothing will go missing? How do we enhance their productivity? Instead of harvesting 1 ton per hectare, in some other climate, you see tomato, they are harvesting 5–8 tons per acre. You know, if you can do that, then the poor farmers will no longer be poor, they become rich. So we have so many other issues before. Now we are adding insecurity, you know, adding petrol to the fire that exists before. So we have that. We have capital, we have healthcare, we have education. I mean, we have challenges with education.
It's enormous.
When you look at our syllabus, it's not connected to the reality of the market. That's why we say our children are not getting work, because the skills they have is not connected. If you want to draw up curriculum, you must talk to those who are going to employ these people. When a BSc economist comes, Nigerian bureaus, and you want to employ them, what skill do you want such a person to have? By the time you talk to 10, 4, 5 CEOs, you will begin to see convergence. Then you go to the schools and tinker with the syllabus, so that when they graduate, they will market ready. So,
sincerely speaking, if I give it to the flaws are continually, the problem keeps increasing and increasing. But I'm sure as we progress, there are survival strategies that the accountant that are on this call must definitely do, so that we can weather the stuff that we are currently faced with. Let me quickly take the question of Ernest. He says, sir, considering the interrelatedness of various markets, how can one take the seemingly under the radar advantage of a turbulent market in Nigeria and compete favorably in the international market?
Well, let me give you an example to answer that question. You look at the telecom businesses. You have the MTN, the Airtel, and the Glo, and of course the Niger, or I've forgotten, Niger.
Glo, the Glo?
No, I've mentioned Glo, the fourth guy, the former Etisalat.
Okay, Nine Mobile. Okay.
They started building masts at the advent of this company. And then one of the unusual things that the telecom operator had to do in Nigeria is to put generator by the mast. If you have traveled to US or UK, you will never find that. This is one country where you must put generator. Now, the business model they adopted was a war business model. And those who understood that model, like MTN, they now became so confident to go to Iraq, Iran, to set up network. Because if you can survive here, believe me, you can survive anywhere. Nigerian manager is a special manager. Now, is a government on its own. When you look at your company, you have your Ministry of Defense, the private security people you put guarding you. You can't depend on the remote police. You need your own police in your office. You need your own water works. You do borehole with water treatment. Check your company, you got it. You have generator, the Ministry of Power. Now, before month end, the staff comes to you to say, okay, I need, my child is sick, I need a loan. What have you done? You are also the central bank for the employees. Now, almost when they are sick, they come to you. Almost everything, all those services that is enshrined in the Constitution that we should enjoy, you find out you, the MD, or the finance manager or HR manager, you have become the federal government of your company. Now, this is one great burden that we have. So if you can survive that, one element that is missing, which we must all add to all the strategy we have been using to do business in Nigeria, is the reality that we need to provide those services at the best possible cost, which I see a lot of companies are unable to do. Why? Because our competition is weak. Most of us are one or two companies in the industry. Consumers don't really have options. So we tend to disregard them, and you take advantage of the fact that there's no competition to charge whatever you like. Now, if you're charging whatever you like, then you cannot go outside Nigeria to do business. Because in those climes, efficiency is key to surviving. But here, you can be inefficient and still make money because you are protected by lack of competition.
That is a brilliant, a great commitment, sir. And I think our viewers today are really enjoying some of these things. And you can only get it from a veteran like you. I said it at the beginning when we started that we are here to tap from the wealth of experience. Let me quickly pick Fagbola's question. He's asking, what critical role does the price discrimination play as a price mechanism for business survival strategy in the VUCAD environment?
Well, I mean, just as you have asked the question, I think this is a textbook question that will get textbook answer. Now, price discrimination, you see, is a game you play in the market. If a customer comes to buy one loaf of bread from you, you are going to ask, how do you want to pay? Your ATM card, it brings it, it punches, you tear one receipt, and it takes his loaf of bread and goes. Now, but when a customer now comes to you and says, hey, I need 1,000 loaves, the game is now different.
Yeah.
Now, it is only one receipt you are going to give for the 1,000 loaves. And the same time you spend to process for one loaf is what you are going to spend to process 1,000 loaves. So when you look at your cost of servicing the sales process, the 1,000 loaves is extremely cheap when you look at it from your cost perspective. Just one staff selling 1,000 loaves, the same one staff spending the same time to sell only one loaf. So the cost of that employee per loaf of bread, when you divide the salary, assuming it's 100,000 naira, you have to divide it by 1,000 loaves. So it really is very cheap when you use that employee to sell only one loaf. In that case, you have saved so much money from the volume purchase. So it's better for you now to discriminate and share some of those gains with the customer that is giving you such a great profit, so that somebody else will not snatch him from you. So that is where the price discrimination comes in. That's the first element in a very simple market. Now, if you move away from Lagos and you relocate to Ishenyi, for example, the amount of millionaires in Lagos is not the same as the number of millionaires in Ishenyi. These people are basic, they are mostly farmers. So the kind of pricing structure in Lagos will not work in Ishenyi. To start with, the rent for your office will not be the same. When you are renting and paying 85,000 naira per square meter in Lagos, Ishenyi will give you the same piece of office for 2,000 naira per square meter. Labor, it will be cheaper. Rent will be cheaper. So many things will be cheaper and readily available in Ishenyi. Therefore, you must also discriminate in your pricing so that your product will be friendly to the pocket of the sharing people. So these are some of the drama. Sometimes you are managing a franchise or a global brand, and they ask you, they've given you rights over a geographic segment, and they instructed you, do not move the product from this market to that market. So there are business models that works better. Well, when we discuss, selling to the poor, Nigeria is the capital of poverty. I mean, I'm sure we know that now. So the business model that you need to operate to sell in an environment that is the capital of poverty must be different than the business model you are going to use in England, for example. When they're asking you, you have to sell with, if you want to buy Coke in London, it's either coming in the aluminum can, or if it comes in a bottle, that bottle is crushed immediately after one drink. So the real drink will be so cheap, much, much cheaper than the packaging. That's what you are going to find in advanced country. Oh no, we're not going to recycle bottle. We're not going to do this. But if you come to Nigeria and you are selling the same Coke, you remember this popular byline from Coke: liquid content only.
Only.
What have they done? They have removed the cost of the packaging from the product they are selling. So the poor man can access Coke and not be wasting his money on aluminum can or plastic PET bottle, or even the plastic glass. When we recycle, people can access Coke at 30 naira, 20 naira. But if you start using the business model of the West, now you're going to have problem. You need to do discrimination on pricing, because the cost and the production process, the distribution process must also be different, and therefore your pricing will be different. So these are some of the issues that we create, and it's by force discriminatory pricing.
I'm sure Fagbola, all the way from the ancient city of Ibadan, and other people have tapped, even from the question they have asked. We've had so much of the challenges that we are faced with. Sir, I want to ask you this question, and I know our global audience are interested in it, that you put us through some of the strategy for competing and surviving in this turbulent market. As professional accountants, as business owners, please take us through some of these strategies, sir.
Okay. Thank you. The first thing I'm going to say, and this is like a joke, sorry, and as it was in the beginning, so is this now, world without end. Now, that is the philosophy and attitude that I'm going to enjoin all of us to use to embrace this so-called turbulence. And if you remember, I said the VUCA word came in 2012, not 2023. So it is not such a new thing. It's just that the scope and the scale is now hitting us. We're all getting aware, better than those researchers realized in 2012. When my uncle came from England in 1960 with an engineering degree, it was tough for him to find jobs. When I left the university in 1984, that was the time of structural adjustment. Nigerian graduates could not find work. So in 2022, is it really different from 1984? I don't think so. Now, what is the big difference is the speed. Okay? The speed is now much faster, but we've been living in all this uncertain time for a while. The other thing is that economy are much more predictable and much more stable in the 80s and 70s. So you can design a strategic plan and it will be there for like 5 years. But today, if you say you do a 3-year plan, you are fooling yourself, because you don't even know what will happen next month. It's becoming an exercise in futility, just a joke. We don't know what tomorrow will be. And somebody is claiming that he's an expert about 5 years' time. No. But does that mean that we will not plan? No. You still must plan. But you must realize that, our ability now to predict the future is severely constrained. So we must keep checking the underlying assumptions. We must keep checking the variables in the market. If possible, every month, when you do your management meeting, spend about 10 minutes to look whether your assumptions are still there. Because I can't imagine any accountant at the beginning of 2022 be writing business plan and say that dollar will be 750. You're likely going to be sacked. But what did we end up the year with? 750. So what is going to happen next year? Nobody knows, except we all sit down and begin to do things. So the first thing I want you to do in responding or planning your strategy to deal with turbulence is to first of all calm down. Believe me, the world is not about to end. Calm down. Calm down. Now, once you calm down, you will see that there is order inside the confusion. There is order inside the confusion. Now, one of the first things you will notice is that because of this turbulence, new group of customers have emerged. And they are the people causing the turbulence that you think you are getting. They have come, they are different, they are more sophisticated, they are more discerning, they are seriously demanding. And it does not take them a minute to switch over from your company to competition. New groups of customers are coming out of the turbulence. They are sharper. They want better products. They want cheaper products. They want faster products, and they want it 24/7. They want it now. Now, you need to understand and ask yourself, can I meet those requirements? That's the first law of turbulence. You know, understand that there are new customers and they have new demands. Okay? I've talked about two things. New customers. The second one is they have new demands. The third is that there is so much technology that's available to us now, which has given us opportunity to redesign our business model. These same technologies have also given us opportunities to wow the customers, make the customer experience much better. And some of these technology are also there to change our operational processes and make us capable of serving so much more. Now, look, 20 years ago, an average bank processes about 2,000 transactions in a day. And that was the time of tally number. Somebody will go to the back office to check signature, all sort of funny things we do. But today, with the power of Android phone, these same branches that is doing 2,000 transactions a day are now able to do 200 to 500,000 transactions in a day. And you don't need to check signature. In fact, and the cost of doing it is almost free. It's cheaper to use the alternative channels than to come into banking. So if you don't embrace it, you will just see your competitors will be providing the service at almost zero cost, whereas you are sticking to your bank branches, running generators, paying staff, killing your company because you did not embrace the cheaper and better way of providing service. So these three parameters has given you fantastic opportunity to review your business model and make sure you are playing in that what appeared as as turbulent. If you look closely, you will see there is order inside the disorder. Now, if you look, you see some new group of rich customers that a lot of us in those days will never pay attention to. In Yoruba land, they say it's only a bad child that plays football or only poor people that will start singing song. Alagbe. It's only beggars. The guy that wants to be a beggar is the one that converts himself to a musician. Now, but if Davido or Wizkid is the customer of your bank today, can you imagine the amount of deposits you can realize? Because the guy is receiving money from YouTube, from streaming channel. When he's snoring, the bank account is getting a lot. That's one of the greatest things that Nigeria has exported to the whole world without government intervention or government support. You look at the number of streaming of Buga. Whether you speak English or you speak Yoruba, Buga is a global phenomenon.
Of course.
And our boys they've scattered the whole global market with Buga. And the IT guys are doing the same thing. So many products that we don't even know exist in Nigeria. When you go to Kenya, you will see apps that Nigerian design that people are using every day. But we use culture, tradition, not to allow those products to take off. Yet the boys are shining in other lands. Okay, so if you embrace those three things, because the confusion, when I start listing the drivers of this volatile environment, I just use a culture now, you know, our music, our arts, our values. So many new ones have come. We have new tribes. Our kids are digital. Once they're on their phone, they are playing with their friend in Australia, and they're smiling, they're doing things. So and then you also look at the women group, for example. People, the role of women is in the kitchen, is in this thing. Okay, keep talking about that. You will lose all your markets. Which kitchen? Which of the kitchens? Now, let me give you one reality of Nigeria. 12 universities last year have more female enrollment than male enrollments. 12. The number has been increasing by 2 almost every year. Now, the guy the lady that graduates with a first class, is he going to be a good customer or not?
A good one.
So in 10, 15 years, that woman group is going to become a powerful consuming group. Powerful because they have power to control the family. They also have money in their pockets, and they're extremely educated. And you know they come with certain skills that the other sex don't have. So most boards, most business planners must recognize this emerging market, engage them, and find out how you can achieve your product to such a powerful group, because they control most of the families. The family budget, is how they spend it is determined by the controller.
I can say this, that time will not always be our friend. I'm looking at it as it's ticking. But I have like two questions that I still want us to do justice to, so that we can balance it. I can see Olusoji's question, and that I'm going to consolidate with the question that I have with me. He's talking, what can government do differently and effectively to have a relatively stable economy? But I want to put it from this perspective. We are warming up to elect a new leader. Assuming that we have one or two of them streaming live on ICAN on air, or their aides, let me ask that what would be your message to them in ensuring effective and positive business survival and appreciable economic recovery for our country, Nigeria?
Thank you very much. I'm going to turn the question upside down. You know why? A smart government, a very smart government, the first responsibility is making money. How can government make money? Or where do they make money? They make money from taxes on individuals, families, and corporates. Okay? Now, how can their taxes grow? The way the taxes will grow is to incubate or create incentives for more businesses. Create incentives for more people to be profitably employed. Then they will start seeing serious money. But right now, there's too much disincentives for enterprise, too much disincentives for employment. So they need to realize that the consumers or the citizens are great stakeholders who voted for them so they can be successful. Now, as soon as you start thinking from the perspective of the citizens and the corporates and the MDAs and all that, you will begin to do things that will make those people succeed. Because the honest truth is that government owns 30% of every company. And if they know that they are the owners, why would they not create more companies? Why would they not announce thousands and millions of incentives to make enterprise start, incubate, go through all the troubles, and become successful? Because if you give target to inland revenue, it's dependent on the success of the enterprises within their geographic. So it is not just about revenue, it's also about facilitation. We have not been playing the right roles in facilitating birth of enterprises, success of individuals, success of community. We need to go back because if you don't do that and we're shouting on, oh, Cain, no, it's a reward and collection phenomenon.
Carrot and stick.
So we need to make sure enterprises are doing well. We need not just doing well, we need to create them. Now, if you're very familiar with Europe, or if you look at UK, almost every universities in UK now have incubation center. There are grants so that these graduates with all these whiskey will not just leave the school, they will create enterprise right inside the universities. If the university don't give them grants, you see local governments are giving in Canada, in US, they are embracing brilliant people to create enterprise that will employ the citizens of the locality. How many incubation centers do we have in Nigeria that is being sponsored by government? Very limited. The ones we have are essentially being done by individuals. So let us, all candidates must see the citizens as consumers, partners in progress, and use the power of governance to release the power and the ability of Nigerians. Nigerians are great people. They can do magic. All we are looking for is a government that will allow us to be.
You can say that again and again and again, because when you see our guys out there, they are doing it. And to collaborate what you say, your institute, my institute, at least is one of the future focus institute who I can tell you as an incubation center. We have it at a boosted meta center in collaboration with the Bank of Industry that was the baby of our 57th president, and subsequent president has started building on it so that we can incubate our young accountant, bring out some of the stuff with that. Time is not our friend, but in 1 minute, sir, I want you to just give advice. In as much as we know that ICAN is always open to ideas that will positively advance the growth of our profession, our members, and the business environment. I want to say that what will be your advice for our institute and our members on the topic of discuss today, business survivor in turbulent market, especially in Nigeria? Just in 1 minute.
Thank you. Let me answer this question with a small quote. Wealth can only be created from providing services to others. I mean, sustainable wealth. You can make money through funny practices, but you cannot fool all the people all of the time. We as institute, as individual members of the institute, we must ask ourselves, what value are we giving our consumers? What value are we creating in the community where we are operating? How are we helping to intervene? I mean, the fact that I'm an accountant in a company, have I helped them to turn their revenue to ×3 or ×4? Are we looking at areas of improvement for our employers, for our clients, for our community? I want everybody that has something to do with this ICAN ecosystem to retune themselves to creation of value. Enterprises make sense only when they create great values from their services, from their products. How to do it at the least possible cost. Then everybody will rally around you. Nigeria has so much trouble, and we need people like you and me that will convert those troubles to business opportunity. Solve it with a business model. Let us be apostle of change within our own small area of influence to impact positively with value creation and great services. That will be my message.
That is a very beautiful way to bring the show to a close. It's been a very insightful time having Dr. Isaac Orolugbagbe.
Oh, by the way, I'm not doctor. I am enjoying my mister.
And maybe I should increase it to prof if you don't want doctor. Because it is only a doctor and a prof that can give this to us. And I can tell you, it's been a very wonderful time sharing your evening with us on ICAN on Air. Today, Tuesday, the 10th day of the month of January. We believe very well that when next we need you, you will always come around to share your wealth of experience with us, most especially we, the younger generation. And because of time, let me quickly pass this across to us, that we encourage and enjoy all our members to please make sure that they pay their subscription. Use all the channels that you have on our website to make sure that you pay your subscription. And for those that are due for fellowship conferment, the portal is open. Get in there and get the highest status, be conferred with the fellow of the Chartered Institute of Chartered Accountant. And I can tell you, you'll be very happy to do that. On that note, we have come to the end of the show today. Well, I will be coming again on Thursday. A great appreciation to the editorial board. I remain your host, C.A. Olusegun Okwade, FCA. If you want to know, the barrister, we use barrister. For us chartered accountant, it is C.A. Olusegun Okwade, FCA. Till Thursday, bye for now.